Over the past 2 years, the staff and the digital infrastructure at Frimley School has changed significantly. In our senior school of Year 4 to 6s, we now have 10 one-to-one classes, accommodating 295 children on their own computer on any given day, while the juniors have a ratio of 1 to 3 devices, providing access for another 290 children. We have teachers within these classes that are new to Frimley School and also some that have been here for a while. Our children are tech savvy. We need to make sure that they are safe. Previously, teachers have been left to run their own digital safety programs. Suggestions have been made about sites to use and ideas to help, but it has been little more than a snatch and grab session around the photocopier. Teachers all have different views of safe practice, and little time has been given to discuss and unpack what they want safety to look like, even though all staff and students have signed a comprehensive agreement established back in 2011. To address this issue, the management team have asked us to create a program for the entire school around digital safety. This assignment, however, will focus on the Years 4 to 6 program. Managing digital safety at Frimley in the past hasn't given people the opportunity to share ideas or discuss their own thoughts. The programs available are often not age appropriate, and the stakeholders have no ownership or connection to them. They are often irrelevant to the situations in the classes, or it hadn't been deemed important by the teachers. Digital safety has seldom been a particularly exciting topic, but the issues and consequences of not being safe on the internet are a serious concern. Maslow's hierarchy of needs begins with humanity's most basic needs, air, food, water and sleep, and builds from there until we reach our most satisfied self. The need for safety is the second most critical stage of our well-being. Whether or not we believe in Maslow's theory, we could all agree that it makes sense to maintain our safety. To implement our new digital safety plan, we've looked at a system taken from Bowser, Brodke and Thomas Kazaka-Thalakal in 2015, where they identified 5 steps to help implementation of innovations. These 5 steps are as follows. 1. Identify the stakeholders of the process and what they value the most. Step 2 is analyse the current process to eliminate wasted steps and effort and improve the flow among the remaining steps. Step 3 is to rebuild the new process using lean tools and techniques to reduce waste, improve flow and meet or exceed what the beneficiary wants. Step 4 is to implement and evaluate the new process using metrics that reflect what the beneficiary expects from the process. Or finally, Step 5 is achieving perfection. In this situation, our stakeholders are the students, teachers, parents and the management.
We need to know what we are allowed on and not allowed on, what is safe for us and what happens if we make a mistake.
Our current staff have identified that we can no longer assume that we're all on the same page. What is acceptable and manageable for one teacher is not always the same. We need to have a consistent idea about what digital safety at Frimley looks like, and we need to be able to feel like we are clear about the boundaries and consequences with our children. When surveying the parents, they told us that they needed to know that their children were safe when they were being sent to school, and this meant on the internet as well. They needed to know that the teachers were confident in keeping them safe when they were on their Chromebooks. The leadership team at Frimley School is a strong supporter of online learning. The advantages for them are infinite. However, the safety of the children is of the utmost importance. It's also important that the school maintains safety for all users and feels like they are leading and teaching the children with confidence. Our final stakeholder group are the early adopters, and we're predicting that these will be the e-learning team that is formed for next year and the teachers who have identified issues within their own classes. We're also hoping that there is a range of students who are current Year 5s who are already confident digital citizens who will become digi-leaders. Of course, this group is really important as they have a great deal of influence on attitude and behaviour of the late adopters. Step 2 of the plan is to analyse the current process to eliminate wasted steps and effort and improve the flow among the remaining steps. This information will influence our lean plan that we develop in Step 3. Currently in Years 4 to 6, it is the team leader who's responsible for ensuring teachers have resources to use to teach digital safety. The teachers are responsible for digital safety teaching. However, on discussing how we ensure students are safe digital citizens with the staff, they come up with the following points. They have access to Harpara highlights. They use flipped learning around digital safety, although that was only one class. There is a digital citizenship license. The students' browsing histories can be checked. The use of posters and reality videos at the beginning of the year have been used to show the students what could possibly happen to them. And finally, they assume that the team leader looks over the dashboard using hapara, checks children's emails and deals with anyone who's misbehaving. Michael Fullan in 2001 talks about improving the flow. So in terms of what we will keep, we are going to keep our digital citizenship license, our hapara highlights and our history checks. In terms of getting rid of some things, we've decided the team leader doing all of the organising of the programs and the checking needs to go, and our scare tactics, showing the children the videos of what could go wrong. This made all the stakeholders uncomfortable. We've also decided to adjust the way we use our history checking so that the children are no longer afraid of what we might find. During the discussion with teachers, it became evident that although the teachers were well aware of some of the things they could do to keep the children safe, few had done more than a unit-style teaching session at the beginning of the year and were occasionally checking hapara highlights. The general feeling was that the infrastructure was automated to keep children safe, or that the team leaders would keep an eye on things and deal with any issues that they discovered.
This emphasised the fact that although as team leaders, we thought we were being transformational leaders by inspiring the teams with our visions of what should happen, how to develop leadership skills, we had been focused on organising and supporting and developing the team. We had supplied the main goal but allowed the teachers their own vision of reaching it. It was at this point that the leadership fell over. For this to have been a successful style of leadership, we needed to ensure that we were surrounded by people who took care of the details. We didn't monitor this closely enough and have since discovered that the details were not taken care of at all. In comparison with our leadership in Assignment 1, this is where the difference lies. Our previous successes included the support through the change process, following the early adopters right through the implementation and working alongside them until the change became sustainable. On discussing digital safety with the students, they felt their boundaries weren't clear and they sometimes worried about getting in trouble while on search engines. For the most part, they tried to keep their histories clean, and this was something that they worried about getting caught doing the incorrect thing on. Some of them had even admitted to cleaning their own histories. This is the opposite of the management style we would like to implement. This style of management assumed the knowledge had been given to the teachers and the responsibility had been passed over and therefore was being carried out. On reflection, there was very little being done to keep these children safe or their teachers safe.
Step 3. Rebuild the new process using lean tools and techniques to reduce waste, improve flow and meet or exceed what the beneficiary wants. It's our intention to implement the change initiative during the first 6 months of next year and then continue to create our sustainability after that. Initially, we plan on working through Phase 1 with our teams before school starts, acknowledging that observation is already occurring. While developing our lean plan, we've also taken into account the research and work done by Michael Fullan. In his book, Leading in a Culture of Change, Fullan identifies 4 areas that we need to focus on. The first one is moral purpose, which is making sure that the stakeholders feel confident with their choices and that they feel safe. The second one is understanding change, where all stakeholders will be involved from the initial stages and made aware of their part in the plan. They will have the opportunity to take ownership of the plan and will be confident in the part they play. Relationships is the third area. Being continually informed and updated during the changes will help keep relationships strong, particularly for those early adopters who end up having so much influence later on. Relationships have already been made with these stakeholders and will be strengthened by the ownership of being involved in forming this initiative together. The fourth area of focus is knowledge building. Fulham, Cuttress and Kilcher in 2005 explain that knowing is insufficient. Only knowing by doing, reflecting and redoing will move us forward. So the initial basic direction and planning will be done by the e-learning team, and then this will be discussed and refined by the staff. This approach of constantly refining and reflecting also backs up the principles of using Kaizen. Phase 1 will involve developing the common vision together, assessing the past and planning for the future. Assessing the past will help the staff to see where the changes need to be made and how all the stakeholders will benefit from them. Phase 2, develop, implement and improve, will take place over the first few months of Term 1. This will include such key points as how to make digital safety interesting and interactive, that all stakeholders understand the policy and it is open and transparent, that there are no surprises. Students and teachers need to feel they are confident digital citizens with secure boundaries. In years 4 to 6, we're going to use a range of tools to build knowledge and capacity. First of all, we want a universal agreement of safe usage, which will allow us to have a more transparent use of computers. We're looking at using Cotton Tracks, an app that teaches kids how to use their histories for a purpose, rather than being afraid of what might be seen in their histories. And we'll continue to use Hapara highlights by staff to monitor the online activities and behaviours of our children. Finally, we want to introduce some gamification into the system just to increase the motivation and engagement. Phase 3 of the Lean Plan is about connecting the supply and then the demand. This is going to involve making sure the children are on board and that they understand the requirements, boundaries and consequences. Also ensuring the parents understand that there is a different expectation between home and school. Step 4. Implement and evaluate the new process using metrics that reflect what the beneficiary expects from the process. We've decided to integrate some game mechanics into our plan to improve the motivation, participation, engagement and loyalty, particularly of the children. While there are 10 primary game mechanics, we've decided to focus on 4: fast feedback, goals, badges and the community aspect. Fast feedback will be about using Hapara to respond quickly to the children that are doing the right thing for us. We hope to create some goals or missions for our children to work on that will reinforce our digital citizenship expectations. Success on these missions will allow the children to gain badges or level up in order to share their successes and show their achievements. Hopefully this will lead to sharing with the community. In our instance, that's through the blogs, community evenings or across the school, depending on what we're doing, and sharing these achievements hopefully will create some energy in the community and make people aware of what others are doing. By choosing to use Kaizen as part of our sustainability, we aim to constantly improve our systems. As a lean education practice, Kaizen succeeds when all stakeholders look for areas to improve and to provide suggestions based on their observations and experience. The key is that from the beginning, it must be clear that all suggestions are welcome and that there will be no negative consequences for participating. Instead, stakeholders are rewarded for changes that improve the safety of digital device users. Teachers, students and parents become more confident and invested in improving the safety. The teachers become leaders that continually look for areas that can be improved, which on reflection is the attention to detail that past leadership way was missing.